I suddenly wish that I were 6'1", because if my legs were this long, I think Jake moved my car this morning, and I didn't know that he did that because the car was locked in the garage, and then the seat is pushed all the way back.
The Bluetooth device.
New coffee place opened up. It's actually not a new place, it's just a new location where I live, and I could be totally hallucinating this, but I think I had coffee from this place like 2 years ago. And if I did, it was New Year's Eve. And if it wasn't that, it was a different chain. But I'm pretty sure it was this chain. I'm on a black coffee kick again for the first time in like months. I was really rocking with flavored coffee, but I think it messes with my stomach. I like this angle so much better. I noticed that I talked way too much about my like tummy problems with my friends, and I got really casual with it. I was on a producer call, by the way, with a producer that I am so honored to be working with. I think I need to filter myself a little bit more when it comes to conversations. But I think that there's something charming when it is a beautiful girl living her truth. Still getting used to this whole like talking on camera thing, so forgive me if my words are like discombobulated. Wait, I want to go in. Do they don't even have a window I can walk up to. Hey, I'm just gonna do an iced scooter shooter, please.
Of course, anything in it today?
No, thank you.
Is it a large?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna like adjust you here in case like the person taking my car doesn't want to be filmed or something. Ed Hardy wallet. This window is so high up. It is like, okay, the very bottom of the window is where the top of the roof of my car is. Mind you, my car is like maybe 3.5 feet tall. So I'm gonna have to get out. That's okay. Yes. There you go. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a great day. She was so sweet. Oh my gosh. I'm so very lucky and thankful that my label happens to be like my best friends. Like that is the, oh my gosh. And like, I couldn't be happier with the position that I'm in. I am not the most consistent with releasing things, but it's for good reason. I am an ultra mega perfectionist. I don't like to put things out that are half-assed. My life even is very curated in a certain way. If I had to guess, this is probably like espresso or like a cold brew. It might be espresso in cold brew. I have a feeling it's cold brew. When I was in high school, I worked at Starbucks. I was the cold brew queen because I was the one who was doing the cold brew, and I drank a lot of it. And then when I worked in the mall after that, it's like right after I graduated high school. I graduated in 2019. So in like winter 2019, I worked in the mall. I worked at Lush, and I had to work Black Friday, and I had like a crazy long shift. I was like really not happy about it, but I had like 5 or 6 shots of espresso at a time just to keep me awake through it. And you know what's crazy? It was a day shift. It wasn't even like I was there at midnight. It was just a day shift. I could have gotten by with just the energy of like being an 18-year-old, but I didn't, and I did that instead. Now I found out, I spilled it. I found out that my resting heart rate is like way higher than it needs to be. I have something called POTS, which stands for postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which is basically when I move around or get up too quickly or something, my heart rate goes up way too much. And how is that going to be touring at some point? I don't know. We're gonna find out together. I think it'll be okay because I manage it quite well. And I had to limit my caffeine intake, so I can only do about 1 of these a day. You know what I have no tolerance to though? I have no tolerance to Celsius. When I was at my best friend's house the other week, she always has like big things of Celsius. And I happen to like the Arctic flavor one. It's kind of like a, just like, that bike sounded like a fart. But she always has like big things of Celsius. I happen to like the Arctic one, which is like a mixed berry kind of thing. So I had one, and I noticed that I like could not shut up. I literally could not shut up after that. And I was like, wow, this would be amazing for when I do this YouTube thing. And I actually have one of them at my house. But I really, going out for coffee is not about getting the coffee. It's not even about the coffee. It's about the going out. It's about the getting ready to go out. It's about the little bit of social interaction that I usually am bad at, but I'm getting better at it. It's crazy that I grew up selectively mute. If I weren't doing this in music, I would probably be working at the high school that I went to, doing something for kids who struggled the way that I did. I went to a school that was like made for kids who have socio-emotional problems and or like behavioral. I always like deep down like wanted to work there, and I might at some point in my life. I don't see why I wouldn't, but this is the sweetest thing ever. So 2 years ago, I won my first music award. And I went to visit my high school, and whenever I'm back in Massachusetts, I love to go visit my school. I literally love to go visit my school because they changed my life for the better, and I'm so thankful for them. Even though when I was like 15 and I started going there, I was not thankful. Not one bit. I'm so happy that I went there now. So I went there, and I was talking to one of the staff members, and they were like, oh my gosh, this one girl is gonna freak out when she sees that you're here visiting. And I was like, oh, does she like remember me? Because I graduated in 2019. At the time it was 2022, so I'm like, there's a chance that she was there. And she was like, no, she actually like loves your music, and she was telling everybody to vote for the music award. And I was like, wait, what? And I met this girl, and it was like incredible. I saw so much of like 16-year-old me and her, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I would love to go back at some point this winter. Most people who move to Florida wouldn't want to go visit the north in the winter, but I actually happen to love the winter. I love the cold. Maybe because I was born in the cold. I love both in their own way. I think Florida has my heart in the sense that I found home here. Aesthetically, I tend to really like Boston proper. Like in the city, I think the buildings are like incredible, but I like Florida in a totally different way. I like suburban Florida a lot. That's kind of where I'm at now. I'm like in between kind of the city area. I'm like an hour from Tampa, and I go there sometimes. I'm actually going there tomorrow, which I will be recording everything. A really good friend of mine actually just moved to Tampa, so we're all going out to celebrate. I never thought I would be able to like share an actual love story, which is so crazy, but my boyfriend and I met. We started talking like professionally, strictly on work terms, about a year and a half ago. We finally nailed down a date for me to go up there to film like a music video with them and, you know, his band. So I did it, and I'd actually sworn that I would never date another musician, but the moment I saw this guy, I was like, okay, he's not like a normal band guy. He gave more business guy than anything, and I'd always told myself, okay, I need a business guy, but who happens to be musically inclined too. This guy, he turns around, and he picks me up at the hotel that I'm at, turns around, and I was like, oh, I'm cooked. Oh, I'm so cooked. We meet, we're talking about Indiana, and I had never been to Indiana before. Who is now my boyfriend, his name is Jake. When Jake and I first start talking, and he mentions like, oh, I've always wanted to move to Florida, and I almost just took a job in St. Pete, and I didn't end up taking it. And I was like, he's like, do you know where like Delray Beach is? Right around there is where I go once a month to see my best friend, do our car meets, like literally right around there. And I'm like, oh, that's so weird. He's like, yeah, I almost took a job there too, but didn't end up taking that one. You weren't meant to move then or to St. Pete. He's like, yeah, but I've always wanted to move to Florida, and if I were to move to Florida, it would have to be the Gulf Coast. That's just what I see Florida life being. And that's exactly how I felt too. And in my head, I'm like, oh, so we're getting married. Okay, I must be delusional because he's showing no signs of interest. He's being very cordial, very, very polite, but no signs of interest. Finally, he goes to drop me off at the airport. The next day, it was like a quick 24-hour trip. He drops me off at the airport, and he's like, you know, I'm gonna miss you. And I'm like, he comes to Florida like a couple weeks later. We hit it off quite well, and now he lives with me. My life coach told me something so vital that I think is one of the most important things to consider when you want something, whether it be a job, money, a partner. About a year ago, I was alone and miserable. I was begging for the attention of people who really did not care for my company. I was on the phone with her, and she was like, if the exact person that you wanted walked into your life right now, would you actually feel ready for it? And at the time it was like, oh my god, no, I'm not at all. I think embodying the traits of the person or the thing that you want is so vital. No, I wasn't ready. if the person or the thing or the opportunity that I wanted came knocking at my door that I probably hadn't cleaned in too long, I wouldn't have been ready to take it. I had to deeply analyze in my head the avatar of the kind of person that I wanted to be with. Thank God, a couple months later, I met him. I think when we're surrounded by too many things and too many people all at once, we become influenced by them. I think like you become who you surround yourself with no matter what. Especially if you're being pulled this way and that way, you're gonna get influenced. That's what you're thinking about. First thing you get up and you check your phone and it's like all these people hitting you up. You're out late and talking to this one, talking to that one, and you start to absorb the traits of the people around you. So when you're alone, you have nothing getting in there. You can almost put kind of blinders on and be like, this is what I choose to believe about this time in my life. This is what I choose to believe about money. This is what I choose to believe about love, despite past circumstances, because the past is, you can't go back. How you make yourself ready, I think, is by doing little things every day. Developing a state of awareness of your habits, because I had this like really weird thing where I would watch a ton of videos about like discipline and motivation or, you know, success or something. And because I looked at it, I thought that I would just be able to absorb it by doing that, but just by looking at it, not surrounding myself with others who are like that or anything like that. And then I'd be like, oh my God, why is my life not changing? I'm watching all these TikToks. Why is my life not changing? Taking a close look at how you feel when you see like a happy couple out or a friend group out. And I still find myself like maybe feeling a little bit like, oh, I want that so bad when I see like a big like friend group out, or when I see like people, you know, I'm scrolling through stories on Instagram and I see people out and partying or whatever. I'm like, damn, I want that. You're like, oh my God, I'm feeling bitter about this happy couple. That's because I don't have that. And you might try to cope with it and be like, no, well, I don't want it anyway. You know, I don't want da 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 anyway. But that's not the reality of it. You do want it. That's gonna be me and whoever I want at some point. And just accepting that and not feeling any type of way about it, I think is a... Seldom times I would go out. I would make my bed and I would lay my pajamas out. And I would have like maybe like a Motrin or, you know, a liquid IV all set up and ready to go for when I got back. Guess what my boyfriend does? Every time, he does that. And it's the most wonderful thing, and I think I accidentally set that up for myself. So if you want a guy who does that, try doing that, or a girl, whoever. I used to think that I like the law of attraction and stuff were like backwards for me, because the things that didn't feel good would end up like really serving me. But I really do think it's just the level of intensity, and I happen to feel things that are not as good very strong, and I think a lot of other people are like that too. Started to change the subject. I needed something at Target, and when I was leaving I was like, okay, I need to go to Target for X, Y, and Z, and I totally forget what for now. I know makeup remover is one. I don't know why my skin really prefers makeup remover that is like in wipes. So what we can do, we can go to like Ross or Marshalls or TJ Maxx or one of those. They all have the same products, I think. I want to see if they have any of those Juice Couture bags. Did Juicy ever make flared leggings? That would look super good. Imagine if my phone like wanted to stay right here. That would be so perfect. I think it might. No, this isn't terrible either. Anyway, yeah, so the one time I had Dairy Queen, it was on the way up to the goth nightclub, which happens to be where I'm going tomorrow. And I'm not even like a big nightclub person anymore. Not that I was ever like a huge fanatic of them. The music at this one in particular, phenomenal. You know, if you're gonna go, either in a big group or go with like your boyfriend or girlfriend. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing both. I'm going in a group and my boyfriend's going. So I think I'm good. Can I just say, every time that I've been recognized at this one place in particular, everyone is so respectful, like so nice. That I'm excited for if it does happen. Oh my God. I crashed. No, I'm kidding. I totally didn't. Like, okay, when I accelerated, my phone is sitting, I have like these little meters that tell me, shut up, that tell me like oil temperature, battery, that stuff. My phone is propped up on them, and I'm also a no case person. When I accelerated, my phone fell, and I did record for 10 minutes while I was driving on the highway, and someone did try to merge into me. Twice. Love. To shopping we go. think I'm gonna go with this one. And I say that because sparkly strap looks cheap. And if you look, you can see glue. Got a twine on there that I'm really not feeling. I think I'll go with this one. I don't know what I did, but my caffeine tolerance is...
Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
I think this was a cold brew. I'm pretty sure this is a cold brew. I don't know. It's called the Scooter Shooter. I don't ask. That's what it is, right? I have to pee so bad and I cannot stop talking. Anyway, I made a buddy in there. I literally just filmed a video about, like, you know, how to fall in love with being alone and da-da-da. And then when I go in there and I'm like, you know what? I am one of these girls that just doesn't have a ton of friends. That's okay. I made a buddy when I was in there and she's so sweet. When you accept it, the right things will fall into place. Detachment. And I started yapping to the cashier about Juicy Couture because I got a Juicy bag. And it has a little pocket on it, and she's like, oh my gosh, this bag is so cute. I'm like, I know, right? I was torn between these two, and I have the Juicy towels now. I'm so into Juicy right now, brrr, whatever. I'm like, the epitome right now of like, wow, I have nobody to talk about this with, so I'm talking about it with you. Not that you're my last resort. Never. You're my first resort. Sometimes I'm just a little scared of you because I can see myself to the side of you, and that trips me up real bad. I want to switch all the stuff in my bag. I love how they give you like the massive bag so it feels like you bought like a million things. We'll put the stuffing back in the Marshall's bag. First off is my wallet. It's Ed Hardy. I think I got it at Ross. Carnelian in a little cage. Now, do I live and breathe and die by crystals? No, not really. But I think if you need the $3, $5 crystal, placebo your brain into thinking that you're more confident and more creative and attractive, just get the damn crystal. So I like Carnelian for that reason. And it's red. We'll say the lip gloss can be next. This is the Charlotte Tilbury one. So sorry, I have no idea what this is called, but I think it's the Lip Luster is what it's called. But the wand looks like this. I feel like it's kind of a distinct wand. I don't really need this right now, but I want to show you it anyway. This is the Charlotte Tilbury lipstick. I think this is Pillow Talk 2, like the more intense one. It's just what I prefer. But Cold Brew by NYX liner with this in the center, immaculate. I'll put it on because it might look good with this. Right now I'm wearing, this is One Size Beauty liner in Prime Fish, I think it is. I like Pillow Talk with like pretty much anything. But yeah, my caffeine tolerance is absolutely ruined and I don't know how I did it. I used to do like 5 shots of espresso every single day. I'm gonna try not to let this get the best of me. We'll see how I do. If I'm feeling well enough, when I do crash, because I had a caffeine crash the other day when I had the Celsius and it was like really, really bad. Like I almost threw up in the bed, like bad. I don't know if it's supposed to do that. If I'm feeling good, I will keep you updated on how I'm doing. I feel like I'm losing, where are you? I feel like I'm losing my mind. I don't know what got into me. I had this one coffee, like from that new place. My caffeine tolerance just like completely went down. And like I haven't been able to stop talking for the last like 2 hours and I do not feel good. And I almost puked in Walgreens because I had to go get myself a Prime and I was trying not to puke so bad. Oh my god, I felt terrible. This lady's like hard. They all had to like come over and do stuff and I felt really, really bad.
I'm listening.
And I'm like, lady, I'm so sorry. I'm trying not to throw up in front of you. On top of all this, I have lipstick. Like, other than I went to my mom's house to get myself something to eat because I started to not feel so good and I was like, oh, I should probably eat. And it didn't even do anything.
You look pretty.
Thank you.
Get some laundry detergent because we were actually out. I picked up this shit and I went to go throw it in and then I was like, oh, this is just fabric softener. I'm
meeting with my life coach at, I think 6:30. So I have a couple of hours to take my extensions out and get pajamas on and just like chill out and do my computer work, hopefully in bed. Switching to jammy mode. I'm finally back home and in my pajamas. I do feel a lot better. I'm gonna go edit exactly what you're watching right now. Lord knows the caffeine in me will make me locked in enough to do it. So thank you very much for coming along with me on my daily errands. Oh my god. I will see you in the next video.